Hey everybody. Uh, Sorry that I didn't have the intro music. I let my subscription to StreamYard um, lapse, and now I don't have the option of playing a theme song. But that's okay. I hope everybody is here and having a good time. We do not have a guest tonight, but I wanted to chit chat with you guys, find out how your Thanksgivings were. As I mentioned before, tonight, I am going to talk about my schedule for 2026. So maybe we can talk about what all of your plans are for 2026. So Dan is saying good evening. Good evening, Dan. Donna is saying hi to Dan. Oh, and she also says long time no see. I had to look up LTNS because I didn't know what LTNS did. What LTNS meant. Dan is saying LOL. Carlos saying hello to everybody. Donna says, hello, Witzman dude. Fancy seeing you here. Donna told me to lift the camera up. Sorry about that. Don't forget to like and share, folks. Yes, Donna makes a good point. Donna says, hi, Grant. Carl says, hey, Grant. And Donna told me to lift my camera up. And you were absolutely right, Donna. So, on to business. Let's see what we have. So, this is my schedule for next year. Yeah. So basically, oops, Donna says that's better. Okay, so this is my schedule for next year. We're going to come up with League of Cryptids number 4, Beowulf Grendel's Curse number 2, probably going to be around mid-year. And all of this is subject to change, of course. I mean, it's in a few weeks or months or whatever. But and then next year at October, the Memoirs of the Morbid Trade paperback is coming out. So what this brings me to is I would like to mention, oh yeah, I forgot, I also have the 2027 schedule. Do you guys want to see that? Well, you're going to have to wait. Sorry. So I hope you guys are looking forward to the 4th League of Cryptids and the 2nd Beowulf Grendel's Curse. I'm working hard on all of those things. And currently, I have to zoom out. So, sorry. Sorry, I'm trying to bring up the Photoshop file that I have. This is going to be the cover of League of Cryptids number 4. Oh, Dan says looking forward to League of Cryptids 4. Thanks, Dan. Anyways, this will be the cover. Let me get it straight. There we go. But yeah, it's basically just the Jersey Devil getting attacked by a bunch of frogmen. And I'm going to continue working on this as we talk. So I haven't decided on the colors for this cover yet. I can't decide if I want a yellow background or if I want a green background, maybe something darker. I don't know. You guys tell me. Does this look good or should I experiment a few different things? You let me know what you think. But I am going to continue coloring the frogs as we speak. And I hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving. So Carl says, looks like frogs gone wild. And Carl says, I'd want to see it colored first before I decide on the background. That's fair. That's fair. I'll keep working on it. I don't know if I'm going to get it done tonight. It would be nice if I got it done tonight, but I doubt that. But I'm curious how everybody's Thanksgiving was. Did you guys have a nice Thanksgiving? What did you do? I think Carl said that they were going to a Chinese buffet, which, I mean, that can be nice too. I made turkey. I love making turkey, mainly because I love eating turkey. And I do not get super fancy with the turkey. I literally put a little bit of salt, maybe a little bit of garlic on it, some butter, nothing too fancy. And then I just pop it in the oven. And then I have to baste it occasionally. But it is super easy and super fun. So Donna is suggesting a lighter yellow. Okay, I can try that. That shade of yellow is too much with the green. You might be right. Carl is agreeing with Donna about the Chinese buffet. Carl says no cooking, no cleanup. Yeah, but I actually enjoy cooking. That's the difference between you and me. I don't enjoy the cleanup, but usually if I cook, Angie will clean up, which is kind of why I try to cook as much as I can. Chinese buffet was great. Then Friday, Witzman dude took me out to my favorite Mexican restaurant for my birthday / anniversary. Oh, so you got married on your birthday. Well, that's good. So it's easy for you to remember your anniversary, right? Donna says Carl outed her to the waiter about her birthday, and they sang to me. I don't mind because I got a free dessert, and it was delicious. I wonder if they got you fried ice cream or some type of cinnamon. What do they call that? Chimichurros, or what do they call that? That cinnamon dessert that they have. I don't know. It's really good though. Dan had 3 Thanksgiving dinners last week and still have some leftovers. Okay, so were you making the Thanksgiving dinner? Were you going to other people's houses for the dinner? I'm guessing maybe you have to go to your in-laws, maybe your grandkids. I don't know. 3, wow, that's a lot. I know a lot of people say they get tired of turkey around this time of year. I personally do not. I could eat turkey every day. I love mashed potatoes. I love stuffing. My parents are confused. Hold on a second. I'm going to have to plug my computer in. My parents don't understand why I like stuffing from a box more than I like the homemade stuffing that they make. I think that is just so unbelievable to them. They just cannot wrap their head around it. Um, so they ended up. So I told them I'm gonna make store bought stuffing, and I told them if they wanted to bring some of their own homemade stuffing, I would heat it up for them. And they brought extra for me to have later. And I was very confused by that because I was like, wait a minute, the whole point of me making the store bought or getting the store, the whole point of having them bring their stuffing was so that I could have store bought and they could have the homemade stuff. But I mean, as far as stuff that crazy stuff that my parents have done around the holidays, that's not too bad, right? So Donna's saying that her dessert was a chocolate cake with flan. Oh, that sounds delicious. Dan says I took my mom out one night. Took Lynn cooked turkey and sides one night. Then I took her out for a dinner date on another night. And you guys had turkey all 3 nights. Wow. I'm gonna be honest with you though. That sounds like my idea of heaven. I love turkey, and I never get tired of it. We might get tired of it this year because we cooked a 20-pound turkey this year, so we have a lot of leftovers. And Carl is saying stuffing is much more consistent from year to year. Um, yeah, I think that's part of it. Um, I don't know. I just like the mixture of spices in the stuffing. Um, I don't know. Um, I mean, I don't dislike my parents' stuffing. I just feel bad that they go to all the trouble of making that, and stovetop stuffing takes what, like 5 minutes to make, and in my opinion, it's so much better. But I think um, at this point in my life, I've realized not to like really argue about stuff like that, right? Yeah, at least that's my impression. But anyways, Dan, I'm glad you got to have. Sounds like you had 3 really nice Thanksgivings, and how could I argue with that, right? But yeah, I like Chinese buffets too. Maybe I'll take. Well, I took Angie out for sushi. Or actually, I guess technically Angie took me out for sushi this afternoon. We went to lunch. There's a really good fish market here in Pittsburgh, and there's a guy in the fish market who makes sushi, and obviously, it's the freshest. It's the freshest sushi restaurant in the city because he literally just has to walk 5 feet in order to buy his fish. So at least that's my logic, right? It's got to be the freshest. I mean, I think it's the most delicious. It's a little bit expensive, but sushi, no matter how you prepare it, is always a little bit expensive. But I had a really nice weekend with Angie. My parents came to town, and Angie got along with them. I don't think Angie and my parents ever don't get along, but how do I put this? Sometimes my parents can be a little bit overwhelming, um, and that's not on Angie. I mean, they're my parents, and I feel overwhelmed by them, so I can only imagine how Angie feels about it. Um, yeah, it's, I don't know. My parents are nice, but family is tough, right? And I don't know if I mentioned this, but my brother moved back in with my parents, so that's interesting. So Dan is saying that the dinner date was pot roast inside. Oh, pot roast sounds delicious. I actually bought a pot roast today, uh, that I'm gonna put because we're inviting a friend over. And the nice thing about pot roast is you can put pot roast in the slow cooker, and and then you can go have fun with your friends and talk and drink and have a good time. And then, while you're not worrying about it, the pot roast gets done cooking, right? Carl agrees with me. Let's not uh, let's not argue about stuffing. So Carl says that the Chinese restaurant serves turkey on Thanksgiving too, and ham. Oh, that sounds really good. That's nice. He says their pumpkin pie is flat and tasteless though. You can always buy like a pumpkin pie from like a bakery or something. I wonder if they just forget to put like cinnamon or like the seasoning in it. I don't know. But Donna says the coconut shrimp is divine. Divine. I like to pronounce that word like that. Divine. It's been a while since I've been to a buffet because at least out here, most of those buffets went out of business during the quarantine, which stinks because I like a good buffet. Um, so I'm guessing you guys are planning on doing the same thing for Christmas. Let me know what you guys are doing, or maybe you guys, I don't know. Are you guys going to see family for Christmas? Are you guys doing gift shopping and whatnot? I was thinking about taking a little bit of time off from this show for Christmas. Let me know what you guys think. Maybe not the entire time, but maybe like a couple weeks here and there. But the good news is that I don't have any Kickstarters to do for at least 2 or 3 months, and I don't have any conventions for another 2 or 3 months. Because I don't know if you guys could tell, probably, but I was starting to get very burnt out. And I was ready to just have a few days where I just relaxed. Like I needed a few weeks where I didn't have to worry so much. Uh, I enjoy the drawing and writing aspects of this business. I do not enjoy the selling quite as much, which is fine. I'm not saying that I don't put effort into it. It's just that part of it is not quite as much of a labor of love for me, quite frankly. Yeah, I don't know, you guys can tell me when you get frustrated with the business aspect of this job, what do you guys do? How do you kind of replenish yourself? Or here's a question for you. When you're at a convention and you've had like the fifth or sixth customer where you really, really, really tried to sell them and they have this look on their face like they would rather like slam their hand in a car door than buy anything that you put your name on. Um, I don't know. How do you guys deal with that? Because I was definitely starting to get burnout. So Dan is saying Lynn had gotten a $50 coupon for Cracker Barrel. Our meals were under $30 with the tip for the waitress and some stuff Lynn bought. The meal cost us $3. Wow, that's awesome. Carl's saying that time off is a good idea around this time of year. Fewer viewers are home. I think that that's a good point, especially in the evenings. And we burned out on conventions too. So is that your solution, Carl? You just take some time off. Donna says that she understands if I took December or some of it off, especially the last couple of weeks. Dan is saying being retired has taught me the real value of time off. Oh man, I hope I get to that point one day, Dan, where I can retire. It sounds like you are living the dream. I can't remember if you are working on any. I think the last time I talked to you, you weren't working on any books. Um, I don't know. I have too many ideas to take too much time off. But I don't know. Maybe one day I will get some time off from writing and drawing. You can hear my cats in the background. They're wrestling. Um, I don't know. I always miss the fact that I don't get to watch wrestling because this show is the same time as wrestling. But I guess if I look over at my cats, I can get to see some wrestling. But that's okay. I would rather be spending this time with you guys than watching wrestling, anyways. But yeah, so this idea, this year I'm kind of just continuing ideas that I've already done. I've already started, but I think in 2026 I'm going to start some new ideas. So I'm looking forward to that too. Um, I don't know if you guys have this trouble, but you're trying to focus on the project that you're working on, but then you have all these other ideas in the back of your head. I'm curious if any of you have ever had that problem and how you deal with that problem. I'm trying to do them all different types of colors, and I'm sure I will switch the colors around plenty before this cover ends up getting printed. Okay, Carl says, I realize from years working in sales, you can't sell to everyone, and only a few will buy. That's a good attitude. Dan says that he never faced that, Grant. If someone wants to buy the book after I describe it to them, great. If they don't, I just shrug. Okay. Dan is saying I've always worked on the stories, but this year's been mental instead of typing. Been a horrible year for us having to hire contractors to work on the house. Yeah, I can imagine that. Donna says I don't treat it as a job. I treat it as a hobby. Yeah, I sometimes I wish I had more of that attitude, Donna. I mean, I guess my thing is like right now, I guess it is kind of a hobby, but I would like for it to someday be something that I could view. I don't know what Yoshi got her hands on, but she's making an awful lot of noise over there. It sounds like she got her hands on some type of paper. So I apologize if you hear the paper crinkling in the background. So Dan is saying that now that the contractors are finished and the rest is within my skill set, I'm a fair carpenter and know which end of a paintbrush to hold on to. Okay, so now you can kind of get some of the work done yourself, which is nice. I accidentally colored that the wrong color, but yeah, it sounds like you have a lot of projects to keep yourself busy, Dan. I know that that's one of the things that my dad really focused on was finding stuff to do in retirement because if you just kind of hang out, um, life can get kind of tedious. Um, like I know my dad has his friends from the office he worked at. He goes and meets up with them like once a week, and he has a lot of social endeavors that he partakes in, which is nice. I feel like my dad has done a better job of staying busy in retirement than my mom has, which is weird. I don't. Usually, it's the other way around. Usually, it's men who have trouble adjusting to being retired. But I am having fun coloring these frogs. I hope that I didn't make the villains of this comic book too cute. Because quite frankly, these frogmen are kind of cute, aren't they? Look at these little guys; they're so cute. So Dan is saying, Grant, the honey-do list never ends. LOL. I wanted to do a couple of oil paintings, but that's on hold until I can get back to the stuff on the house. Oh, cool. Carl says it's a combination of cute versus terrorizing, kind of like the Ewoks, right? At least that was my goal, was to make them kind of like the Ewoks. I mean, that's why I love the Ewoks. I like the fact that they're kind of adorable, but they also look like they could, you know, flay you into a million pieces with a spear. Trying to figure out what body part goes with which frog now. I think this leg does go to this frog, right? And I think these legs here go to this frog. And guess what? If I do it wrong, guess what? It doesn't matter because it's my art anyway, so I decide which frogs go to which. Oh, I was going to ask you, Donna. I know Carl said uh, that you were finishing up a new book. I'm curious to know what it's about. Or I think he said that he was working on editing it. So Dan is saying maybe draw a few of the frogs frowning. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Like maybe these guys shouldn't be smiling. But yeah, I did have a little bit of a dilemma while drawing, while making this comic book. Like, how scary versus, do you want to see the cryptids beating up on these guys, or do you want to see them come across as intimidating a little bit? And I think got a pretty good balance of those two things. So you guys saw what I have coming out in the next year. What do you guys have coming out? It's another chapter in the Beth and Hill series. Carl's saying sometimes sheer numbers of even a cute thing can be scary. Yeah, that's kind of what I was going for as well, Carl. I don't think the frogmen are as powerful as the League of Cryptids, but there's just so damn many of them, right? Kind of like stormtroopers. Even if they don't shoot, even if they can barely aim, they're still scary, right? And Dan is saying perhaps their skeletal structure won't allow them to frown. Well, frogs are pretty cute, whether they're frowning or whether they're smiling or whatever. But this has been a fun cover to work on. I really like the layout of it. Um, I think it's going to look really nice sitting on a rack with the other comic books. And I am looking forward to next year when this comes out. I think I mentioned to you guys that I'm having a little bit of trouble wrapping up Memoirs of the Morbid just because it's the only comic book that I haven't advertised as being completely finished. And something that I'm thinking about now is that I noticed that it did not make as much money as the other Kickstarters. So I don't know if that's why, but if you bought Memoirs of the Morbid, there's no reason for you to be worried about it. It's definitely going to come out. Uh, we're waiting on one other artist, and I think I told you guys the artist who we're waiting on is a guy whose wife just had twins. And I don't know how I let him talk me into letting him be in the book because um, trying to find a fun color for this guy. But I think everything's going to be all right. It might take a little while longer. Um, when I say it might be a little while longer before you guys get your books, I'm saying in terms of weeks, not in terms of months. Um, his comic, his story is only 7 pages, and he's about half done with them. But like I said, it's taking him a little bit longer than expected. But I have faith that he's still going to get it done. See, the more of these guys I draw, the harder it is to find like a unique color. And I'm not saying that they all have to be 100% unique, but the guys who are like right next to each other, I want to be at least a little bit unique. See, now, right now, the guy who's like right to the left of him is a little bit too close. I don't know, maybe I'm being too perfectionist. That looks pretty good. Maybe I need to do it a little bit lighter so that it doesn't. Yeah, I think that. I say it looks good and then I change it one more time. So Dan is saying that he's working on old Dan stories for a collection and need to go back to a Fantasy Quest story too. Publisher has a novel of mine he wants split into 3 volumes. He has assigned me an editor. He hasn't assigned me an editor yet. So this is a book that you already wrote, Dan, and it just needs revising. Um, it sounds like you've kind of had a tough time recently. Um, I don't really know how to put it. Staying focused lately, so maybe this will help you stay focused a little bit. Maybe if you have an assignment. Yes, I'm having fun drawing these cute little guys. Cute slash ferocious little guys. So I hadn't really decided how long I was going to go on hiatus for. Um, Maybe I'll decide at some point during this week. I'm going to go on hiatus sooner rather than later. I don't know. Maybe I should draw some of the frogs kind of brownish, because sometimes frogs are kind of like brownish colored. Like this is kind of a greenish brown. I don't know. I do think I'm going to call it a night here soon. I know it's a little bit early, but I'm kind of running out of stuff to talk about. Unless you guys have anything important you guys want to talk about. If you guys want to, you guys have anything you're trying to promote, feel free to mention it. So Dan is saying that he wrote this story in the 2000s and edited it as best I could myself. But Forest for the Trees needs someone who can see the flaws my brain skips over. I think that that's really good advice. Um, I I like to have somebody who is not me look at my scripts. I mean, not that I really write scripts, but before I start working on the main comic book, somebody to listen to my ideas, tell me, okay, this page doesn't make sense. Here, the dialogue sounds cheesy, whatever. But that's just me. I don't know if you guys agree with me. Carlos saying that he's worn out, so he's going to go to bed. He's good with an early night. Well, thanks, guys. I think I'm going to call it an early night. I might draw a little bit here, a little bit longer, and then I'm going to read a little bit before I go to bed. Thank you guys again for watching another episode of Grant Draws. We'll probably be back next week. I'll let you know via social media. Thanks, guys. Good night.